right ahead with your question.
So I have a nephew, 17 years old. He's with his mom, and I'm just a little bit concerned. He's a smart kid, you know, everything, but he has no aspirations for his future. You know, I always have this conversation with him. Well, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know, that conversation that you have. And he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's not interested in anything. You know, he doesn't want to play sports. The only thing he wants to play is the video game. That's the only thing.
What grade he in?
He's in the 11th grade.
Is he spoiled?
He gets what he wants.
Then if he's spoiled, he ain't gonna be motivated. A child who gets whatever he wants and don't have to do nothing to get it, why would he be motivated to do anything? To me, this sounds more like parenting. It sounds more like a parenting issue than his issue. This is why I don't know why we spoil black kids. I do not understand why we spoil black boys and girls. I do not get it. The children who have to work the hardest in this country, we sabotage them by giving them everything, not making them do shit to earn it, excuse my French. And then when they lazy and unmotivated, we looking around for help when we're the ones who created the monster. So, I mean, I appreciate your concern for your nephew, but it's his parents who have to do something about this. You know, I would suggest trade school. I would suggest trade school because it's only 2 years and it is very, very relevant because you graduate, you know, certified or at least prepared to be certified or licensed to be an electrician, plumber, roofer, computer networker, auto body mechanic, welder. You know, there's so many trades out there. I would tell them to put him in a trade school.
Okay.
You know, I would start taking him around to some trade schools. I would still take him around to some colleges too in case he changes his mind. But if he's a lazy, unmotivated kid, there's no way I'm spending $30,000 a year on a lazy, unmotivated kid. I'm not doing that. You know, but they should start taking him around to visit some colleges or some trade school to try to get an idea of what he wants to do.
Okay. All right.
But you got to talk to them. They got to take him off that breast, that metaphorical breast.
Yeah.
You know, we got to make men. Well, what good is he going to be for somebody's daughter if he ain't got no work ethic and no go-get-it energy? We got to stop spoiling these kids, especially the boys.
Right. I mean, that's one good thing about him, though. He's not interested in girls, so he doesn't have like a lot of girlfriends or, you know.
Okay, is he
hang around?
Is he interested in boys?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not interested in boys.
Okay, I got you.
I had that conversation with him too, because you never know. See, me and him, we talk. Me and him talk more than, unfortunately, him and his mom talk. He calls me for everything.
Okay.
So we talk, and no, he's not.
I got you. No problem. But yeah, they got to start getting him off the umbilical cord, start taking away some of them privileges, make him get involved in some sort of activities outside the house, you know. But I would go trade school. I would definitely go trade school. You can't lose with it.
All right.
All right, my
well,
queen.
I just wanted some sort of idea of where to go because I'm lost. I mean, nobody else seems to care. I don't know if they don't seem to care or what, but I'm.
So you're saying the parents are unbothered by it?
Well,
for the most part,
mom's the only one involved right now.
Okay, so he living with single mom.
Yeah.
She's spoiling him to death, and you know it. She's spoiling him.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming her either because the father should be there, you know. I don't blame the mom, but she's spoiling him.
Yeah.
Where's the father? Is the father still involved in the life?
No. He's gone.
Okay, well, it could be an issue of depression, too, if the father abandoned him. Emotional abandonment, that could explain low motivation, too. You know, so you do got that piece that we got to consider as well. But I think most of it is spoilage, which could be made worse by the emotional abandonment of the dad.
Okay.
Might need some counseling. Tell the mom to get him a counselor, a couple sessions. See if there's anything going on.
I I've told her that, actually, because I'm in counseling myself.
Okay.
And it's helped me tremendously. And I've told her that, maybe that would help him. And she hasn't made any moves about it. So
all you can do is keep on trying to motivate her. But I'm wondering if the mother going through her own depression right now, and that's why she's feeling handicapped to do anything.
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
And I've talked to her about that too. And she says, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
This is what happens when the black community.
Everywhere I go, and I'm like,
this is what happens.
Trying to help y'all.
This is what happens when the black community is disorganized. I don't blame him or her. You feel me? Because there should be black men to wrap their arms around the son, and there should be black women to wrap their arms around her in the community. I don't just mean you, because you don't live in that immediate vicinity. But this is why we suffer so much as a people. We have no community infrastructure. We have no programs. We have no systems. We have no institutions. So when we have a problem, it gets exacerbated by the fault by the fact we don't have no infrastructure, no unity. So when we suffer, we really suffer because we don't have a community network to fall back on.
Right. All right.
Yeah, but therapy and therapy and trade school.
Okay.
That's
I will take your advice. I'll encourage her again for therapy. I'll encourage him for therapy, and I'll, look into the trade school situation, throw that his way, see how he feels about that. And I guess we'll go from there.
Indeed.
The only thing I could do.
Yeah, you can only do your best because you're not the mom, so.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But keep me posted, beautiful.
All right. Thank you.
All right, now. No
Appreciate the
problem.
call.
No problem. Why did you leave Islam? I don't want to debate or bother. I just want to know your views. My dear brother, you can be a Muslim all you want. You could be a Hebrew. You could be a Christian. You can be a Seventh-day Adventist. You could be an AME. You could be an AMEZ. You could be an Anglican, a Methodist. You can be an Episcopalian. You can be a Jehovah's Witness. You could believe in the aliens. You could be whatever you want, my brother. But I'm not interested in having no conversation about religion. I'm only interested in having a conversation about liberation. Now, if you want to have a conversation about liberation, we can have a conversation about liberation. But I'm not going to have a conversation with you about religion because I could care less who you pray to or what you believe in. The only thing I care about is what do you think about black people? The only thing I care about, what are your commitments to our liberation, our freedom, justice, and equality? Religion is irrelevant. I don't want to talk about it. That is your relationship between your God or your anti-God. I just want to know what is your thought, what is your focus when it comes to the commitment towards black people for freedom, justice, and liberation. I don't give a damn what you believe in. I wish you religious zealots will stop trying to engage me in a religious conversation. I do not give a damn about your religion. I care about black people. And 9 times out of 10, your religion only care about black people if they care about your religion. I'm going to say that again. Most of you selfish ass black religions out there, black power religions included, y'all don't care about black people. Y'all only care about black people who believe in your God. If they don't believe in your God, you don't care about them. Religions are some of the most selfish institutions in the black community. They collect money from all black people, but they only use it on black people who pray the way that they do. Get the hell out of my face with religion. Let's go to the next question. Go right ahead with your question, beautiful.
Okay. So I'm having issues with my 9-year-old. She had a classmate she was friends with. It was very close. And then, I don't know, like, they had a falling out last summer. She went into the school year, okay. But he was in her class this year. So it was like, she just got slowly declining with the, she's not focusing. She's not listening to me. She got behavior problems because he was very disrespectful to his mom and his family. So I think she caught a little bit of that from him. And then she just, like, slowly declined and everything. Like, she didn't want to go to school. Every time I woke her up for school, she was like, I don't want to go. Like, I had to fight every day, to get her out of school. To get her into school every morning. So it was like a struggle with that. Then she caught COVID from being in school. She didn't want to go back. After she caught COVID, she was out the week or whatever. She didn't want to go back. Now it was like, it was so bad, I had to take her out of school. So now she's home.
And you had to take her out of school for what reason? Behavior or what?
I took her out because I was like, I felt like I was like, she had too many days out because she was sick the whole time she came back to school in September. She kept getting sick because they didn't have masks on. She kept getting sick. She just was complaining all the time. Like, I don't want to go to school. I'm like, why? She just kept complaining, and I made her go. But I eventually took her out because it became too overwhelming for me to, like, every day, like, fighting with her.
Okay, and her reason, okay, she was not being disruptive.
No, not in school.
She just didn't want to be there.
Right, and not just that. It was like she's saying that, you know, I think that she was feeling like depressed. She was like, nobody wants to talk to me in school. The friend that she was with, he was spreading rumors saying that, you know, saying like crazy things about her to the classmates that she was friends with. So I think that she felt that they was taking his side. And then, she had so many days out.
What grade is she in?
She's in 4th grade.
She in the 4th grade. You took her out. How much school has she missed? She's been out since when?
She's been out since, like, it wasn't, like, continuous. It wasn't, like every day. It was just, like, here and there, she's out 5 days because she's sick. She's out here 5 days. So she missed a lot already. And then she caught COVID, so she was out another close anymore. So she feels like, nobody wants to be her friend because she feels he's more popular.
Okay,
so
but
I took her out and started doing homeschool.
Okay, did you fill out the homeschool paperwork with the district though? Because if you don't declare, okay, so then Truancy,
New Jersey, you can't do homeschool with New Jersey public schools. So they tell you to go on your own with a online homeschool program.
Okay, so your daughter is on an online homeschool program.
Right.
Okay, but is she completing the work?
She has, but I'm regretting it because now she just wants to stay in the house. She just want to be on the phone. She just want to.
I think this is a discipline issue, Mama. I think you letting that girl do too much of what she want to do, and we can't do that in the 4th grade. I think she's doing too much of what she want to do. You're gonna have to put some discipline in place.
Right.
I would get a calendar. I would get a calendar and 2 different color markers, one for school, one for home. And at the end of the school day, we review how she did. She get a smiley face or a sad face in pink. And at the end of the day, at bedtime, we review how she did, and she get a smiley face or a sad face in green. And you tell her, listen, for you to have a good week, I need 4 good days out of 7. And if there's 4 good days out of 7, you and mommy will do something together outside the house fun. Stay away from money. Stay away from expensive gifts. Never reward a child with money. Never reward a child with expensive gifts. And then you got to have punishments. When she doesn't have a good day, there must be a punishment that day, whether it's early bed, loss of privilege, loss of whatever she's into. It has to be that day. Punishments and rewards is how you're going to change your daughter's behavior. We cannot let her do what she wants because she's not having a good day. Her friend moved away. If that's the case, get her some counseling. Google Black counselors in your area. But she in 4th grade, she cannot be doing what she want to do. This ain't it.
She's very defiant. That's
well, she's only as defiant as you allow her to be. She's only as defiant as you allow her to be. Where's the biological father?
He's not around.
He's not around. She's only as defiant as you allow her to be, Queen. I don't like the way this look. Because if she's doing what she want to do in 4th grade, by the time she's in 8th grade, she might not even be going to school no more.
Exactly.
This on you. You got to lock it down. Is she the only child?
No, she has an older sister.
How old is the sister?
She's 25.
Okay. Is she helping you or what?
She tries to, but they're always getting into it. So.
Is she depressed? Your daughter? Your young daughter?
That's what it seemed like.
Get her a therapist. It might be depression. You still got to hold her accountable, though. Just because you depressed don't mean you don't get discipline. You still get the discipline. But I would get her a counselor, and I would create a behavior plan in that house.
Right.
And I would get her ready to go back to school next year. See, we got to be careful with that homeschooling. It can breed laziness and complacency.
Yes.
Homeschooling can definitely breed laziness and complacency.
Go back to school next year.
Yeah, get her a therapist, and you got to get strict with the discipline program.
Right. Exactly. Thank you.
No problem, Queen. Keep me posted.
Okay.
All right. Go right ahead with your question.
Okay, my question is, I have a daughter that has cerebral palsy, and she did get she did get the test done, but they try to get her more tests.
Okay, stop for 1 second, Sister Martinette. You said she did get the test. Now there's thousands of tests. What are you saying? She got she got a special ed evaluation? What do you mean the test?
She got a special, yes, that's exactly
okay, what grade was she in when she got the test? What grade was she in when she was evaluated?
She was in 5th grade, actually.
She was in the 5th grade when she got her first eval?
Yes.
What grade is she in now?
She's sophomore in high school.
Okay, so 5th to 10th. It's been 5 years, so she's had an IEP for 5 years, correct?
Yes.
Go right ahead with your concern.
Okay, my concern is that they try to put her on more and more medicine, and I really do not want that for her. I want to, get her off that medicine because they got 2 different medicines that does the same to me. So.
Okay, then you need to have a conversation with the doctor about taking her off those meds, because what we do know is this. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a psychology doctor. But what we do know is this. Black children are more likely to be over-medicated than any other child in this country. Okay. So there is a tendency to over-medicate our kids. I see it all the time with the behavioral drugs. You see, so your sentiment may be true that your daughter is taking too many drugs. She only needs what is absolutely necessary. Now, let me ask you this. What is the purpose of the medicines that she is taking? So, for example, when they give autistic kids medicine, they're giving them medicine to try to control behavior because autism doesn't have no cure. Cerebral palsy has no cure either. So what is the purpose of those meds? Those meds are supposed to be doing what for your daughter?
Right. They're supposed to calm her down, but they put her in a state that she's falling asleep at school.
Give me what's the name? Give me one of them drugs she's taking. Give me one. Give me the name.
I don't have nothing off back. I'm actually driving.
No problem. It's okay. But if you're telling me that they give her the meds for the same reason they give the autistic kids meds to control behavior.
Correct.
Now,
question basically is, I don't want DCFS to be on me. Yeah, what is the proper way to kind of cut down? Either
go through the pediatrician. Go through the pediatrician. Because she doesn't see a psychiatrist, right?
No.
Okay, you go through the pediatrician. But here's my thing. When your daughter is not under the influence of any drug, let's say you stop giving those to her, right?
Right.
What is the worst we will see from her behaviorally?
She bites herself.
Okay, she bites herself.
Yes.
That's not, to my knowledge, that is not an inherently cerebral palsy type of behavior. So I'm wondering if there's something else going on with your daughter that might necessitate some therapy.
Okay.
How is she intellectually?
She's a mute, so she,
Okay,
she's
okay,
so
she's not speaking. Okay.
Like a 5-year-old.
I got you. Well, I could understand the medicine somewhat because of the biting. But here's the other question I have. I'm wondering if there's something the pediatrician could prescribe, something that could go on. Where does she do most of her biting at on her body?
On her wrists, her hands.
Because I got 2 questions. Number one, is there something we could put on the wrists that when she bites, it neither harms the wrist or the teeth, right? That's one thing I got. And then the other thing I got is there something we could put on the teeth that isn't too burdensome. You know what I'm saying? So when she bites, she can't really bite. So
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Get her off it, to be honest, and I just didn't want DCFS to stop taking her to the doctor visits. But
nah, don't do that because then they can get child services on you. Do the visits, but just tell the doctor it's no need for these meds because the only behavioral issue my daughter has is she bites herself. So what do they make for children who bite that we can put on the wrist because she's not biting nowhere else but the wrist? What can we put on the wrist? That's one. And then number 2, is this something we can actually put on the teeth? You know what? Have a conversation with the dentist.
Okay.
Have a conversation with the dentist. See if the dentist has, I'm sure there's something the dentist can prescribe, something that goes on her teeth when she's not eating, so she don't have to, a mouth guard. Brothers and sisters, I hope I'm helping y'all. I'm a little frustrated y'all still making these mistakes. Now, how's Syracuse, New York treating you, Queen?
It's treating me well. How are you?
I'm all right. I heard y'all got a new black Syracuse Orangeman basketball coach because Jimmy Boeheim retired, so y'all got a black man in there now. But that's besides the point.
I just hear that. That is.
Okay, so have you been to Harriet Tubman gravesite yet?
I have not. No, sir.
You better go to Harriet Tubman gravesite. I'm jealous of Syracuse for one reason. I'm not jealous because y'all live up in the cold mountains. Y'all can keep that part. But I'm jealous of Syracuse because y'all only 1 hour away from Harriet Tubman's gravesite. Y'all only 1 hour away from Harriet Tubman gravesite. So you got to make sure you get the Harriet Tubman gravesite, good sister.
I definitely do.
She's in Auburn. Just Google Harriet Tubman House, Auburn, New York. You got to check it out. But go right ahead with your question, beautiful.
Thank you so much. Okay, so my question this morning, I have a similar situation. I have a 13-year-old daughter who has an IEP. She's had for about 6 years now. They're trying to give her this behavior, her evaluated for a behavior.
Back up for a minute. She's 13. She has an IEP, correct?
Yes, correct.
What grade is she in right now?
She's in the 8th grade.
So that means she got the IEP in the 3rd grade.
Correct.
Too young for my taste, but what was the disability determination in the 3rd grade?
Mild intellectual disability.
They gave your daughter an intellectual disability in the 3rd grade.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't call DR.UMAR for 5 years. Why?
Just now found you already 5 months ago.
Okay.
Just now found you.
Okay. Did you hear my conversation with the previous parent?
Yes, I have.
So you need to email me. Do you have my email address? I need to see your daughter's eval. Okay, I do not charge consultation for intellectual disability. I need to see that. My next question, do you really believe your daughter is intellectually disabled?
I don't believe she's intellectually disabled, no.
Okay, so you're probably going to have to request.
I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is.
Okay. What are your concerns as a mother when you look at her? What can she do that other 13-year-olds can do?
Her reading, I sit down with her. We have these readings. I read with her every night. Her reading is she's not on her reading level.
How much practice is she getting at home? How much practice are we making her read?
I do an hour a day. When I get off work, I do an hour a day.
Okay, because they're not going to get better at reading if they don't practice. Only about 15% to 20% of children will learn how to read easily on the first try. Most children got to practice at it. It don't mean they disabled. It just means they need to put forth more effort. You see, I also think you should get your daughter a tutor. I think you should find one of those retired teachers at one of those black churches in Syracuse, New York, and see if one of those retired teachers will work with your daughter, or one of those college students. Get you one. In fact, call Syracuse University. Call their education department. Call their education department and say, I'm wondering if you have any students in your education department who would be willing to tutor my daughter, and I'm willing to pay them. I don't have a lot of money, but I'm willing to pay them $20 a session. I'm willing to bet you could probably take her to Syracuse and get some free tutoring. I'm willing to bet.
Okay.
She needs more rigor because Syracuse schools are not the best schools for our children.
Not at all.
Exactly. So a lot of this might have been poor instruction plus poor practice will equal poor outcomes. Poor instruction from the teacher, poor practice at home is going to equal poor outcomes. We shouldn't have got it tested in the 3rd grade. That was too early, but that's water under the bridge. I think she needs tutoring. But you were about to say that they want you to do what now? What are they trying now?
They're trying to give her, I believe it's called a behavior intervention plan. There's some type of test that they can give her that she could follow her, like her IEP.
Okay, let me ask you this. The behavioral intervention plan is not a test. It is a process that we go through to create a behavior intervention plan, but it can't happen until we've done a functional behavioral assessment. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write down FBA. Make sure you write down FBA, functional behavioral assessment, FBA, functional behavioral assessment. And this is what you want to say to them. How can you do a behavior intervention plan if you haven't even conducted a functional behavioral assessment? Do you feel me?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Now, if they're asking for this functional behavioral assessment and behavior intervention plan, that means your daughter must be having behavior problems in school.
Absolutely.
What is she doing in school?
She just got out of, they just transferred her from one school. She was in kindergarten. She leaves class. She leaves the school. They allowed her to, she was actually on the roof of the school that she just got transferred from.
Whoa, time out. She was on the roof?
Absolutely.
How did she get up to the roof?
That's what I like to know.
How did she get up to the roof? And she's in what grade again? She's in what grade again?
She's in the 8th grade now. This happened in the 6th grade.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Does your daughter have a one-to-one aide?
She doesn't have a one-to-one aide, but she does have one for a couple of classes. But she doesn't have one that follows her every class.
So if she has the one-to-one aide, how did she get on the roof?
I guess it's as good as mine.
Okay, when she ended up on the roof, was that during a class in which she was assigned to the one-to-one aide?
You know, I didn't ask that.
You need to know that. You need to know that, because if it was, then they need a new one-to-one aide. And if it wasn't, she needs a one-to-one aide all day. You need to call an IEP meeting. We're going to wait till I look at your eval because you might need an independent educational evaluation. But you want your daughter to have a one-to-one aide all day. You're going to tell them that needs to be a related service on the IEP or you're not signing it.
Okay.
And then you want to ask them you want to tell them what training will this one-to-one aide have. You don't just want them grabbing somebody off the street. It needs to be somebody who's been trained.
Yes, sir.
Your daughter should have a one-to-one aide all day listed on an IEP as a related service. And there's something else. How many days this current school year, when did y'all start? August or September?
We started in September.
Okay, from September to now, how many days of suspension has your daughter received?
Days, she's had 7 suspensions.
How many total days?
So each suspension was between 3 to 5 days. So we'll give it 3, 6, 9, 12, about 20 days.
Wait, time out.
Times 3. What's 7 times 3? 21?
What? You say your daughter has had over Wait a minute. Are you saying your daughter has had over 20 days of suspension?
She has been out of school more than she has been in school, sir. She got to transfer from.
And you would say at least how many days? At least.
At least 20.
Then they broke the law, sister. A special ed child cannot be suspended more than 10. 10 total.
They never let her come back. They never let her come back until after she had her. What is that meeting that you have to have when you have an IEP? Manifestation meeting. They will never let her come back. So sometime the manifestation meeting, after her 3-day suspension would be up, her manifestation meeting would be the 5 days. So she would have an extra 2 days because the meeting hadn't happened yet.
Okay.
So she'd be suspended 3, but technically out 5.
Listen. After the 10th day of suspension, they cannot suspend her anymore unless the IEP team meets and conducts the manifestation, and the manifestation must answer 2 questions affirmatively. Number 1, was the behavior related to the disability? If your daughter has been classified as intellectually disabled, of course the behavior is related to the disability. She should not have been suspended any more than 10, and they should have revised the IEP and provided your daughter with the one-to-one aid and other supports that she needed. That's number 1. Number 2, the second question, was the IEP implemented? Was it appropriate, and was it being implemented as designed? It clearly wasn't appropriate. So based on the questions, the 2 questions of the manifestation determination, they should have not been able to move your daughter at all. I think you have a big lawsuit on your hands. I think you have first of all, I don't think she's intellectually disabled. That's number 1. Number 2, she's been suspended more than 10 days. Number 3, your daughter has been denied FAPE. I want you to write down the letters FAPE. FAPE. It stands for Free and Appropriate Public Education. Please write that down because you're going to put this in your letter to the principal. FAPE, Free and Appropriate Public Education. There's definitely a war against our kids, and I thought I was helping. I don't even know if I'm helping no more, y'all. I don't.
Yes, sir. You absolutely are. And I just want to thank you for all that you do. Like I said, I wish I would have found you sooner, but now that I found you, I'm not letting go. I appreciate everything you do for us and our community, 110%, sir.
Okay, so you're going to email me the eval, and you're going to draft a letter where you're talking about your daughter being suspended more than 10 days, unjustifiably, where you're talking about the IEP being inappropriate, and where you're talking about your daughter's need for one-to-one aid. And let me ask you this, Queen, last point that's going to be in your letter. Remember, first point, I don't think she's intellectually disabled, and you're probably going to request the independent educational eval. Second point, she needs a one-to-one aid, don't have it. Third point, y'all suspended her more than 10 days, illegal, without your permission, and in a manifestation being answered yes, and I don't see how it could. And then the fourth point, are you telling me that this is the first time that they're trying to conduct a functional behavioral assessment and a positive behavior plan? Is this the first time?
Yes, sir.
So you're telling me all these years, your daughter never had a functional behavioral assessment or positive behavior plan?
No, sir.
Lord have mercy. I need you to understand this, Queen. There's no way that manifestation could have carried. There's no way that manifestation determination could have carried when your daughter never had a behavior plan. The law says every disabled child with behavior problems must have a functional behavioral assessment and positive behavior plan. Without that, the IEP is not appropriate. You have 4 major violations on your daughter. 4 major violations on your daughter. Number 1, she's probably not intellectually disabled. Number 2, she never had a behavior plan. Number 3, she never had a one-to-one aid. Number 4, they suspended her for more than 10 days without a behavior plan, a FPA, a one-to-one aid. How could they do that? So they've totally violated your daughter's FAPE, Free and Appropriate Public Education.
Thank you for that.
You got everything you need?
Yes, sir. I do.
You got my number. You got my email. Send me that eval. Send me the draft of your letter. And once you email it, text me so I know to reach out to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Nope. Thank you, babe. Brothers and sisters, am I being effective? I mean, I've only been teaching this for over 20 years. Why are we still making these mistakes? I've been on my ministry for 20 years. Why are we still making these mistakes? I've been in my ministry for 20 years. I'm not blaming that mom. She just found out about me. But I've been teaching for 20 years. I'm all over YouTube. I'm all over the country. I'm the biggest name in Black consciousness, one of the biggest names in Black education. Why are we still making these mistakes? I've written 2 books that teaches you how to win. Why are we still making these mistakes? I don't understand it. Can somebody tell me why we still making these mistakes? We should not still be making these mistakes. I've done thousands, more videos on YouTube than any living scholar. Why are we still making these mistakes? 1 second. I got a young princess. This is her father. Today and tomorrow. She got to do an interview with DR.UMAR for the classroom project. Y'all don't know this, but I get a lot of requests from my high schoolers and middle schoolers and elementary school students to interview me for their projects. So I'm the most popular scholar amongst the youth, hands down. Nobody's more popular than me amongst the youth. Nobody's more popular than me, period. I'm the most loved and the most hated. Okay, Kalia in Wisconsin. Peace. Go right ahead with your question, my brother.
Okay. Well, first off, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done, man. For what you're doing. I've been watching you. I got hip to you from my cousin. But I got a question. I got 2 little girls, single father. I try to keep women out of their life and stuff like that, unless I'm serious with them. But my oldest daughter, she like real nice. Like she like I try to get her to not be so mean because I know how I was when I grew up. Like I was like angry child, whatever. But I was like now I'm more loving than anything. And I try to get her to do that. But she goes to school and it's like she always coming back with scratches and stuff on her face. And she tell me like some of the kids be messing with her, but I try to tell her that like I try to get her to defend herself, but it's kind of hard when I'm trying to teach her to also be loving at the same time. And then like so I'm just in a like a weird situation with that. And then she with her mom, kids with her mom, I don't know about, they be scratching it too. It's just she always into something and I don't know what it is. It's like my daughter is a new person when she's not around me.
How old is she?
6.
Oh, she's still a baby. What I would do is I would get the names of all the children who've been bullying her at school, and I would write a letter to the principal requesting a meeting to find out what he's going to do or what she's going to do to stop your daughter from being bullied. With a 6-year-old, a 6-year-old girl, I wouldn't be so much in a rush to get her to, we need her to defend herself. But at the same time, at that age, she should not have to fight. At that age, the school should be fighting for her. So I would get the names of all the children who've been bullying her, and I would request a meeting with the principal to find out why nothing has been done about this yet.
Right. Okay. And like I told her when she was in preschool, I try to teach my daughter to defend herself. Like I'm sorry, but I tell her like the kid come in your face trying to hit you, whatever. Like protect yourself. I tell her, but she tells.
It might not be her spirit either, you know. We all come into this world with different purposes. And your daughter may actually be, she may be a humanitarian type. You know, some of our children, they're the humanitarian type, almost like the Christ energy. You know, she's not a fighter. Some of us are born not to fight. It's just, she could very well be one of those special children. They don't fight. Nobody's going to make her fight. You follow? So I don't want us to, I mean, she do have to learn to defend herself. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I don't want us to unnecessarily corrupt her true nature so young in life. You know, when she get to 4th grade and 5th grade, she gonna have to fight sometimes. But right now, she's still in her divine essence. And I would hate for her to have to step out of character at 5 or 6 years old to become somebody she didn't come to this earth plane to be. She's a loving spirit and a true spirit, and I wouldn't be too quick to have her come up off of that at that age. We got to get on that principal and that classroom teacher and the mother as well to find out why she's not being protected.
Okay, and all right, thank you. You just gave me so much insight on that, and but actually, I'm actually enrolling her in into like karate kickboxing classes. What you think about that?
Oh, excellent.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna put her in that, and so I just want her to just like I kind of not beat myself up. It's not as bad as it used to be, but like I want her to really understand that like you have to really be careful of like certain. I don't want her to walk around on eggshells, but like it's some crazy stuff like out here like. For me to put into words, she told me about her teacher, and her teacher told her some stuff. I almost went up to the school and said something to the teacher. You should have put it on paper. You ain't got to put it on paper. See, one of the things we have to learn how to do, and I struggle with this too, as black people, our culture coming over from Africa is based on an honor system. So for us, verbal agreements are perfectly okay for us. Because we come from a culture that's based on honor. European culture is based on manipulation. So when you're dealing with Europeans, using words that you can't prove isn't going to help us. We got to put pen to paper. European culture is about pen to paper. They do not believe in spoken agreement. It must be written. So when things like that happen, you have to put pen to paper so you have a paper trail in case you ever need to put a bigger complaint against that school. Right. Well, yeah, I appreciate you, man. I really do. I know it wasn't really a big question, but I'm really, like, I'm real, like, detailed about how I raise my kids and stuff. I really, truly want the best for them, even though, yeah, I didn't give them the biological mom, household, family thing. But, like I said, I'm doing my best. I try to keep the right women around, I'm keeping the right person around now, not just bringing anybody in there. I just want to raise them right, man. And I appreciate you a lot. I actually got put on to you by my cousin who was in Chicago. He always tell me about you. I didn't know who you were until I went on Instagram, found you. And I've been thankful ever since, man. So
I appreciate it. One more thing, bro, I'm going to throw out there that I need you to check out. It could be relevant. It may not be relevant.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes our children won't fight back if they're going through a depression or low self-esteem bout. So I don't know what her relationship is with her mother, but you also have to look at that side of it too. Is she not defending herself because her self-esteem has been injured? You know, does she feel worthless? Is she not getting the time with her parents that she needs? You got to look at that side of it as well. Childhood depression, they can often become bully victims and they won't speak up for themselves because they feel like they're losers. I think you should Google black psychologists, black therapists, black counselors in your area. And you might only need 3 sessions. It don't have to be ongoing unless they find that it needs to be. But I think your daughters need somebody to talk to about the situation. Certain things they don't want to share with you. Certain things they don't want to share with their mom. I think they need a third person. I think it'd be good to get them some counseling. You know, preferably a black woman maybe. I would just Google black female therapists, black female psychologists, black female counselors in your city. And get them to talk. I think they need a couple private sessions by themselves as individual children, and then a family session with you and the counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do. You know, because you're the primary parent, understandable, but then there's some maternal issues probably going on there with their mother, abandonment, possibly whatever they feeling in their heart. I just think they need somebody to process that stuff with.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
No doubt. Be safe, King.
All right. Peace.
All right now.